Hello, friends. Today's topic, the decision that made the difference. It's 0405 hours. South China Sea. The bridge was usually quiet. Only the steady hum of radar and the soft crackle of the VHF broke the silence. The master stood beside the chart table, studying the latest weather updates. Behind him, the chief officer reviewed tomorrow's cargo plan. 800 nautical miles away, on the owner's operation desk, another day had already begun. An email flashed across the operator screen. Terminal advices, revised loading sequences, update cargo documentation required immediately. Failure to confirm within 2 hours may result in berth reassignment. The operator stared at the message. He had handled only 3 voyages on his own. This was the fourth. His cursor hovered over the reply button. His mind whispered something far more dangerous than bad weather. I'm not ready for this. Not because he didn't understand the charter party, not because company procedure were missing, not because senior colleagues were unavailable, but because he believed confidence had to come before responsibility. While he hesitated, the clock continued moving. In shipping, the clock never waits. Every passing minute changes something: the berth window, the pilot schedule, the bunker plan, the cargo sequence, the commercial exposure. Waiting often becomes a decision without anyone noticing. The operations manager walked quietly to his desk. He didn't touch the keyboard. He didn't take over the situation. Instead, he asked one question: what's stopping you? The young operator answered honestly, I am worried. I will make the wrong decision. The manager smiled. Good. The operator looked confused. If you are aware of the risk, you will verify before acting. That's exactly what professionals do. He paused before adding something the operator would never forget. The dangerous people aren't the one who know they were inexperienced. They were the one who think experience can be gained without making decision. Silence filled in the room. The operator looked back at the email. Nothing about the situation had changed. The deadline was still there. The commercial pressure was still there. The uncertainty was still there. Only one thing had changed: his thinking. He picked up the phone. First, he called the port agent to confirm the revised terminal instruction. Next, he contacted the master to verify cargo readiness and documentation status. Then he reviewed the relevant charter party clause to ensure the revised loading sequence create no commercial conflict. Finally, he updated the charters with confirmed information instead of assumptions. The entire process took less than 30 minutes. Not because he knew every answer, but because he stopped waiting to know everything before taking the first step. That voyage loaded on schedule. No demurrage, no documentation claim, no unnecessary delay. But the real success wasn't commercial, it was personal. Something far more valuable had happened. A new operator had just earned something no classroom could ever provide: evidence. The operations manager later explained it over coffee. Every experienced operator you admire once sat exactly where you were sitting today. Every superintendent once managed a single vessel. Every respected master once stood bridge watch wondering whether they were ready. Nobody starts this profession already capable of handling multi-million dollar commercial decision. Capability grows because responsibility grows. He drew two simple arrows on notepad. The first read, confidence is equal to action. He crossed it over. Then he wrote, action, experience, confidence. This, he said quietly, is how shipping really works. The operator thought about cadets becoming officer become chief officer become masters. No one skips the voyage, no one skips the responsibility. Every promotion is earned, one decision at a time. The same rules exist ashore. One vessel, then two, then five, then an entire fleet. Professional capacity expand exactly like muscles, not through comfort, through controlled pressure. The manager leaned back in his chair. He carefully of another trap. Be careful of another trap. Preparation can become procrastination. I have seen operators spend years collecting certificates, attending seminars, and reading every charter party guides they could find. Yet they avoided the very responsibilities that would have taught them the most. Knowledge is essential. Training matters. Company procedures matters, but experience turns knowledge into judgment. Reading 20 case studies about bunker dispute will never feel like receiving a laboratory report showing off-spec fuel while the vessel is waiting alongside. Studying cargo claim is valuable. Managing one in real time changes the way you think forever. The shipping industry doesn't reward people who know everything. It rewards professionals who continue learning while making responsible decisions. As sun rises, slowly painted the horizon outside the office window, the operator realized something. He had not become confident before making the decision. He became more confident because he made it. And that single shift in thinking would quietly shape every voyage he handled for rest of his career. The next morning, another email arrived. This time, it wasn't about cargo documentation. A weather routing service recommended reducing speed to avoid developing high pressure system. At the same moment, the charterers requested the vessel maintain maximum speed to protect the expected arrival time. The master looked at the forecast. The operator reviewed the commercial implication. The chief engineer calculated the expected bunker consumption. Everyone saw the same information, but each saw it through a different responsibility. This is where shipping separate experience from knowledge. Good professionals don't ask who is right. They ask what is the safest and commercially sound decision with the information we have today. The young operator joined the discussion. A few weeks earlier, he would have stayed silent. Now he spoke. Let's evaluate both scenarios. If we maintain speed, we will increase fuel consumption and may still encounter rough weather. If you reduce speed, we may lose a few hours, but avoid excessive fuel burns, heavy weather damage, and unnecessary stress on the vessel. Nobody applauded, nobody celebrated. The team simply analyzed the fact. The master adjusted the passage plan. The operations team informed the charterers with clear commercial reasoning. The technical team monitored engine performance. Everyone remained aligned. The vessel altered speed. 2 days later, another ship on similar route encountered severe weather, sustained cargo securing issue, and experienced operational delay. Their vessel arrived safely with only a minor schedule adjustment. The difference wasn't luck, it wasn't better weather, it wasn't superior technology, it was better judgment. And judgment had been built along before that weather system appeared. Back in office, the operations manager handed the young operator a notebook. Keep this with you. Inside the first page, only one sentence was written: Evidence Journal. The manager explained every difficult phone call you complete, every commercial discussion you survive, every mistake you recover from, every voyage you finish. Write it down. One day you will face another difficult situation. Your confidence won't come from positive thinking. It will come from remembering everything you have already overcome. That lesson stayed with him. Month became years. One vessel became five. Five became 15. The operator who once hesitated before replying to a single email was now monitoring, mentoring new colleagues facing the same uncertainty. One afternoon, a graduate trainee asked him, Sir, when did you finally feel ready? He smiled. It was the same question he had once asked himself. I never did. The trainee looked surprised. Every promotion brought a problem I had never seen before. Every larger fleet introduces more complexity. Every difficult charter party negotiation taught me something new. I stopped waiting to feel ready. I started learning while moving. Then he pointed toward the fleet performance dashboard covering the office wall. Every green voyage you see there started with someone making a decision before they had completely certainty. Shipping has never been about eliminating uncertainty. If it were, no vessel would sail. Weather changes, port become congested, cargo plan evolves, equipment fails, market fluctuates. The profession has always belonged to those who prepare thoroughly, communicate clearly, adapt intelligently, and keep moving responsibly. That is why the finest master remains student. The best chief engineer continue asking questions. The strongest operators still review every completed voyage. The most respected leader never confuse experience with knowing everything. They understand something far more important. Growth never ends. Before ending the meeting, the operations manager wrote one final diagram on the whiteboard. Action is equal to experience, is equal to evidence, is equal to confidence, is equal to greater capacity, is equal to greater opportunities. Then he looked around the room. Most careers stop growing because people interrupt the cycle. They wait for confidence before taking action. But confidence is never the starting point, it is the reward. He erased the board. The words disappeared. The lesson didn't. So, before your next voyage, before your next cargo operation, before your next difficult email, before your next commercial negotiations, ask yourself only one question. Not, am I ready? Instead, ask, am I willing to learn while moving? Because every respected maritime professional was once an uncertain beginner. Every trusted leader once made their first difficult decision. Every successful voyage begin with one responsible action. And perhaps the most valuable lesson at sea teaches us is this. Ships are not built to remain safely alongside. They are built to sail. Neither are the people who choose this profession. Take the first responsible step. Verify the fact. Communicate clearly. Learn continuously. Support your team. Review every voyage. Then do it all again. Because operational excellence is never achieved in a single decision. It is built one voyage, one challenge, and one courageous action at a time. If there is one lesson worth carrying to your next watch, your next port call, or your next operations shift, let it be this. Professional readiness is not something you wait for, it is something you build every single time you choose action over hesitation. Thank you.